What's going, everybody? Happy Sunday. I know it ain't 3 p.m., but we here. A few technical difficulties. We back for another week of Black Wealth Media Live. I'm Trevor Cassaberry, and I'm here with the great,
Appreciate it, man. I'm Idrian Evans, host of the Black Wealth Media Podcast, y'all. Here with my man, Trevor Cassaberry. Let's get it.
of course. And today we got a good one for y'all. We got a few things to talk about, but I know Idrian wanted to get into a topic immediately, so I'm gonna let him start off for today.
Yeah, man. So I thought it'd be a good idea to talk about like partnerships, and because I feel like partnerships can really like elevate your business, elevate your brand. And so, like, I was thinking about EYL, like, it's one of the top podcasts I listen to, the Social Proof podcast. When Donnie started coming on and um, having like interviews with David, then that just took the podcast up a whole nother level. Now, granted, David was already like, he was already doing great. And then on top of that, like, I think in general, when like for instance myself, whenever I'm interviewing somebody, that's like a temporary partnership. Like that person I'm interviewing, they're like my co-host, and that helps with extra content. And then like another thing that I notice is a lot of people, like a lot of our people, like don't really like partnering. Like they like doing things on their own, and
Right.
it's a lack of trust. And you know what I'm saying. And on top of that, like a lot of people have their own goals and are only thinking about themselves. So I mean, I think like partnerships, man. I think if people were more open to partnerships, they could really like change the game and take it a bit further. Now, I'm not saying nobody can't do it by themselves, because of course, like if you're very organized and you just have a goal in mind and you know how to run your business, then hey, you do you. But I think there's nothing wrong with partnering, man. Like I'm one of those people. I'm definitely open for it. What you think, bro?
Absolutely. Well, I'm the nerd of negotiation. So I love partnerships. I think it's really just, I think it's the most efficient way to progress everywhere, right? But if we specifically talk about business, obviously there, like if you know you need these 20 different things for your business, instead of you having to pay for all 20, you could literally just partner with 20 other people. Y'all all, just put up the effort and the time in the beginning, and y'all all get paid on the back end.
Yeah.
And it makes it so much easier because everybody has one role to play. And you remember from the first time you interviewed me when I talked about how I even started studying business, where it came down to partnerships. And for those who don't know, I injured myself in college playing basketball. Near graduation, I decided to start thinking of different business ideas. So I knew I couldn't afford to pay back student loans with just a salary. I decided to start thinking of how to build out a professional basketball league. It stemmed from a smaller idea and it just blew up. And in the end, I realized I didn't have the money to do it all, and that's what made me start looking into how to do business, working with other people, because that's the only way I can get to have something that big by myself. Well, I couldn't do it by myself. That's the only way I could get to have something big, was to work with other people. So I'm definitely huge on partnerships. As y'all can see, we do have a free partnership negotiation clinic available. It's all free. Just go ahead, click that link, and you guys can access it while you're listening. And one thing I wanted to touch on with the title for today was the negotiation quadrant. That's pretty much the 4 ways to make money. Either you're an employee, self-employed, or entrepreneur, meaning you leverage other people's time for money. You don't do the labor yourself. Or an investor, meaning you leverage your money for more money. You don't do the work at all yourself. When you get to that entrepreneur piece where you actually leveraging other people's time, to get the work done, really all you're going to be doing at that point is looking for new partnerships, right? You may be doing sales and stuff, but at some point you hire a salesman. At that point, the only thing left is partnerships. So even from that scale, to get from an entrepreneur to an investor, typically it really only comes down to what partnerships you can leverage to even find those investment opportunities.
Definitely. And I think, man, like another thing this just made me think about while you were talking, like a marriage, that's a partnership. And
Right.
Also like when you have a family and you have the kids, you got the house. Like it just makes it easier. You know what I'm saying? And a marriage can also be a business. You know, run it like a business. Um, you know, you depend on how you're doing your finances and all that stuff. Two heads are better than one. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? And so, and then like also, it's just like that reminds me of like my mom when my mom was like she had 3 kids, you know, and she was single until I was like 6. Then she got married, and then she had 3 more kids, and then everything was much better. You know what I'm saying? Like everything was much better. Everything was much organized. Um, because it's two people in the house, man, partnerships. But yeah, like back to what you were talking, man. Like, I think like when you become that entrepreneur where you start leveraging people's time because you want to focus on other things, you know what I'm saying? Like you want to focus on the most important things, then you're definitely gonna have to step out and you're gonna have to find people that do things that you don't necessarily have the talent to do or you don't have the skill or you don't even like want to do it. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I think that's very important when you become that full-time entrepreneur. You're gonna need to leverage like people. Like and you might be in a situation where like okay you don't have the money to do that. Hey, get you a virtual assistant. Like there are virtual assistants you can find on OfferUp or Fiverr, and like they don't charge that much, and they can just help you with. You can just delegate that way, and so partnerships in business are definitely very important. And then like sometimes people are in business by themselves, and they can do everything by themselves, but they can't. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh man, I'm sorry, my
That's
wife.
your side.
Yeah, that's my
Okay,
side.
got it.
Sorry, y'all, but yeah, man, and like people think they can do it by themselves, and sometimes people don't even know, man. Like maybe if I use the help of someone that can help me out. Um, so I think it's a matter of I think it's a matter of exposure. I think exposing people to, hey, man, like this is what I could do for you, or I think also people have to want to learn that partnerships can help because sometimes I think people just are in their like in themselves, so they're not really looking outward to get help because they just think they can do it by themselves. You know what I'm saying? So
For sure. Another part of partnerships that I think about is that it doesn't only have to be for the entrepreneurs, right? So like it's also for the people that's the employees. So
yeah,
how do you move up in a company or even in your industry? You don't do it all by yourself. The people who just work by themselves, they usually end up in certain isolated roles where they don't have to talk to anybody. People just give them the paperwork they got to do and don't talk to them much, and they stay right there. They hit that cap and they typically don't get a chance to move up because they're not really personable, right? Once you create those partnerships, you kind of live and breathe the fact that you're personable because that's what you need in order for the partnership to succeed.
yeah,
So different instances I think of is like, if let's say you work in, again, you guys know me, construction management is my thing. So if you're an inspector, right, and you end up leaving a project because you got a new job somewhere else, maybe it's for more pay and closer to home, you definitely want to keep all those contacts of the people that you used to work with on that last job. Not just because, those might be good people to know or they can help you get a job later, you can help them. But some of those people may become business owners one day, right? Or you may become a business owner one day. And you will be able to leverage a seat at that table, whether it's you going in to get a job, you going in to get a promotion with that person, maybe them being able to leverage your relationship to get you a promotion or a job elsewhere, or maybe they can get you a gig where you're able to come in as a subcontractor as opposed to just being an employee, and now you're getting equity within the project. So you really want to think about which people you work with, you actually enjoy working with, and who are actually good at their job, because that's somebody you can actually partner with career wise as you guys grow. Because, let's say you were a lawyer or something like that, and you want to go to a new firm, you have a lot more leverage going there when you come with your own clients. So if you're a salesperson, you got a lot more leverage if you go with your own clients. And that only gets to work when you're leveraging your relationships, your network, and ultimately some sort of partnership, right? So it works on the employee level, and from there, you really, that's how you end up getting to, the next level, right? So you partner with somebody you used to work with, let's say them, or you decide to, start a consulting company or some sort, or a coaching company or a tutoring, whatever on the side. Now you're working with another person, to get your own clients. And then you're working with another person to find new people to fill in the work for you. So partnerships is a big part of not just business and family, but just life altogether. Because you're definitely gonna need it. I know when I moved out here to Connecticut and it snowed, I was glad I wasn't the only person out there shoveling, because it was one dude. He just went right up and down the whole block with the snow blower. So now you only got to do that last sheet of ice. You don't got to be shoveling all the snow. So small things like that just make it a lot easier on your community, the office, and your job and business.
For sure. And I got a question, man. Like, do you think there's a way that people can leverage partnerships? Like, say you're in a job and you want to move up. Let's say you want to be like the district manager. Is there a way that people can utilize partnerships and still be able to move up within the company?
Um, well, obviously, if you have a partnership or a strong relationship with somebody that's high up in that company, right, or somebody that has the power to move you up. But if you just want to talk about from a payment or income perspective, the company I used to work for, it's like an international construction management company, right? Project management company. So it's huge. They have, a listing that they send out an email like every week letting us know that there's new jobs that they need help with. Finding. Obviously, they pay companies to help find them talent, but they also will pay you a bonus if you refer somebody that they hire. And again, these are, it's all construction management positions. So we talk about engineers and inspectors and project managers, some admin stuff, some human resources stuff. But the big money, $5,000 bonus, $8,000 bonus, $3,000 bonus, just for getting an engineer hired is good, right? Especially when you're an engineer. Maybe you make it 80,000, you just got a 10% bump because you got your friend hired, right? So I think that's important. Again, because what they did there, and this is one of the principles of persuasion, social proof. I have to break it down in another video, obviously. But what they do when you first get there in the bottom right corner, they show the names of which employees referred the most employees into the company. And it was always like some long Middle Eastern name. Like it seemed like the top 5 people was always like, Private Kumar, something, something. But like one dude, the top guy, he had like 160 referred employees, and the next person had like 120. I'm like, you know how much money this is? Now, granted, they probably been working there, for years. That's how they were able to get that many people hired. But still, I'm like, 100 people. If you refer 100 people and you get $5,000 a pop, that's $500,000. Like, you know what I'm saying? And just think, like, you might have just worked with somebody, referred them to this job, and then on their way, and you just ask them, you know anybody else I need to get hired? They're like, oh yeah, I got 2 other people from my old project. Bring them over too. Like when I got hired there, my brother-in-law was working there, and he got the referral payment for getting me in. So it was like, now I was able to leverage that with him. Like, yo, Asa, like, I know you got the referral payment. Just help me out to do this other thing. Like, I need some help with this paperwork or something. So, it definitely, you always want to use those partnerships. You could never go wrong by having good relationships. Yeah. You could always go wrong by having bad ones.
For sure, man. And like, speaking on the relationships, man, like, I know everybody that I had interviewed for a little while, man. I was like, this is when I first started the podcast. Every like 2 months or every 2 or 3 months, I would just text like everybody that was on my podcast, like an alumni. I would just text, hey man, what's going on? Just checking in. Like I did that for probably like half a year. Mm-hmm. And I was like, my whole point of doing that was just trying to, like, I didn't want to just have them on my podcast and then that's it. Bye, see you later. I wanted to like keep relationships with some of these people, and it's actually worked out. Like some of these people, like I still like hit up, they'll hit me up. And most of them I went to school with anyway, so I usually see them around town or wherever. But I just wanted my whole point of that was to just like keep relationships. You know what I'm saying? Like I would just text, "Hey man, just checking in," and some of them would hit me up like, "Hey man, like I appreciate you hitting me up." And like a lot of these people are like real estate developers, and some of them are running like big businesses. And like I think it's just cool to have connections like that, because you never know what can happen in the future. They might hit you up, "Hey man, like I was thinking about this doing this partnership or something. I thought about you. Would you be, you know what I'm saying?" And
Yep.
that, don't get me wrong, that's not the reason I was doing it, but that's what comes with it. I
That's how we got here.
Exactly.
Right.
That's how me and you got here. Cause like he was on my podcast. I had him on the podcast, and then like we definitely kept in touch. Like we would text every now and then, and then I remember we were talking on the phone about like a partnership, and then like here we are now on another one. You know what I'm saying? So like I think, man, relationships are super important, and I think relationships like they
Give
can
some feedback.
Yeah. You said we get feedback.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, man, like relationships are important, man. Like it's good to keep in contact with people. Yeah. What are they talking about?
Is there feedback on my end when I speak?
Wait, say something again?
Anything?
Nah.
Yeah, yours is heavy right now.
Is it mine?
Yeah.
It might be my background. It could. How it sound now?
I can't even hear what you're saying right now.
Oh look. Yo. How it sound now?
I can hear you, but it's a lot of screeching.
Oh man. Hold on. Sorry, y'all. All right, yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you good. Constance said she can hear you fine.
Okay.
So, cool. All right, cool. Thank you, Constance.
Thank you.
Look at that. You don't know how much help that was. All right, cool. For all I know, it could have been me. That's why I jumped out and jumped back in.
Okay.
But yeah. Go back to what you were saying. My fault.
Yeah. So I was talking about how me and you got to where we are now. I had he was on my podcast. We did an interview, and then we had a partnership, and we've just kept in contact ever since. And now here we are, going live every week. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, like I had said earlier, some of the people that were on my podcast before, like some of them hit me up now, and like, "Hey man, how you doing?" And that's just because I just kept in contact with them. I would text them every 2 months, you know what I'm saying, or every month, like just once a month, just a little, you know what I'm saying, just checking in. And I think like people like that, you know what I'm saying. So and people will support you because you do that stuff. So yeah, man.
For sure. And I know there's probably some people, let's say, who aren't in a similar position, thinking, okay, that's great, partnerships work, but how do I go and get a partnership? One, obviously, you could get a lot of information from the free partnership negotiation clinic at Cassaberry.com/entrepreneur, right? Not that only entrepreneurs can leverage partnerships, but that's the link that we teach the partnership stuff, right? But two, just some extra game is, if you want to partner with somebody who is an entrepreneur already, you have to think of not what they can do for you first, but what you can do for them. Like, the only people that can do something for you are the people who you can do something for in the first place. So you have to think about what these people want and what you even have to offer, or whatever you have to offer. Think about what people actually want that, and instead of trying to sell to them, consider a partnership if they're already an entrepreneur and not your ideal client. And in terms of what things you have, that they might want, Myron Golden speaks about this, but it's kind of like 4 basic ways to really help a business. And the first thing is they need more traffic, right? So if you are in a position to help a business generate more traffic, either into their store or onto their website or something like that, then that's something you can leverage. How do you help them do that? Either you have the expertise, or you literally just have access to the traffic and can tell the people, hey, go to this website, go to this store. So that's one thing. The second thing is, if you know a business that already has a bunch of traffic, or you don't have the access to bring them some, you could help them convert the traffic. So it's like, hey, I want to help you convert more traffic on your website because there's these things that you could put in place that would convert more people, right? Are you willing to keep what you have going, or would you rather increase your conversion percentage by 5%? And either they take the meeting or they don't. But obviously, you may have to show them proof that you've done this for yourself or other people. But if you have the expertise to do that, or if you have access to the expertise, so if you have access to someone like myself, and hey, I can get Trevor to come meet with you and help you close more of the traffic on your website and convert them into actual leads, then it's like, hey, now you have some leverage to actually, negotiate, barter, or even partner with this person, because you're essentially that middleman controlling access to the expertise. Let's say a business that already has traffic and they're already converting a bunch of the traffic into leads. Then it's like, okay, you got to help these businesses keep their leads or keep their customers. So that's the third thing. If you have the expertise or access to somebody who has the expertise to help them keep their traffic. So that may be something where, they have a coaching program or something like that, and somebody else that has a membership subscription, and you help them partner up, and now you get a percentage in the middle for helping bring the whole deal together. Almost like an agent, right? You could use the word agent a lot of ways, but some sort of agent will close a deal like that, bringing two parties together for a transaction. So that's another way for you to get in, is to help people keep the clientele that they have, because obviously a subscription has people paying monthly or yearly or some sort of routine, so they have more incentive to actually buy and engage in the product. And then lastly, it's helping them create a higher value offer. So that may be something where maybe the person is used to selling paintings one by one, and now you can get them in a position to sell 20 paintings at a time because they're selling to a gallery. Or maybe this person is used to doing one-on-one coaching, and you can help them get in a position where they're doing group coaching and can 5 times their income. But those are the things that business owners are really looking for, because that's the way to make the a sustainable or a very large impact on their business is more traffic, converting that traffic, keeping those customers, and then ascending those customers into more higher value and higher price products. So just think, if you want to partner with a business, you have to provide one of those 4 things. And then on the other end, you have to think, if you're a business owner, they have to provide one of those 4 things back to you. If you're not a business owner, then you have to think about what you're going to get in return. Because if it's a partnership, that means you're not getting money directly in return. If that's the case, you're just a vendor. So they could just pay somebody else to do it. If you want it to be a partnership, you have to think of what things this company has that's actually going to help you in whatever goal you're looking for. And if you don't know those things beforehand, then the partnership is not even worth you pursuing. You have to already know these things. And this is kind of the research side to negotiation before you get to the table.
Yeah, and I wanted to say, like, I don't know if you touched on this already, but I wanted to say, like, you have to know that you have value. Because
Say it again?
I said you have to know that you have value.
Right.
Yeah, because like for instance, like I knew I really did, like, my podcast. I got like a little small audience, my small little audience, and I really didn't think I could have some value. This is at first until, like, Trevor, he reached out to me like, yo, let's do this. You got your podcast, da 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 da. And then another thing is, like, I remember when, like, I first started, like, I'm trying to get my insurance license now. I remember when I first, like, talked to the group that I was going to be working with, like, I told them that I had a podcast, and they were just like, what? You got a podcast? Like, they were super excited about it. They was like, man, you could plug this into the podcast. And they was like, since you already have a platform of your own, like, it won't be that hard for you to, it won't be that hard for you to get the message out there. You know what I'm saying? So I like, now I'm more confident, because, like, okay, I'm in my mind, okay, I got a little audience. You know what I'm saying? I got you know what I'm saying, I could plug in whatever, like a little commercial or something, and my little audience, they, you know what I'm saying, like I could put them onto it. So yes, I think you just have to know that you have value as well. You have to just assess that.
Absolutely. And usually, if you hit the person up and they say, "Yeah, let's take a meeting," that means you got some sort of leverage or perceived value, right? Because they wouldn't have took a meeting with, a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
So, definitely know that you. But it really comes through in your confidence. I think right now, because you're able to reach out to people through like social media ads and Google ads and cold emails, uh, it's a lot less personal
Yeah.
doing business and sales. And I think that's why people, have some hard time either paying people online, thinking it's a scam, or even converting clients online. So one big part of that is like actually getting in front of people or getting on the phone and speaking to people. Because if you can't do that, you really just hoping the algorithm works in your favor, right? You're just hoping that your ad hits the right person at the right time. Versus if you're, in their face and going live where they can actually speak to you, or actually calling people on the phone and getting in touch with clientele, and having ways that they can access you, like you're gonna fail.
Yeah. Have you seen on like there's the like if you go on TikTok, there are people that when their videos go viral, they explain how they can do that. You know what I'm saying? So when they shoot a video, they say you shoot it like you're actually talking to one person. And so when somebody's looking at that video, like I notice whenever, like let's say if I'm scrolling on TikTok just trying to find some ideas or just wasting time, you know what I'm saying? Like I'll see a video that'll stop me, and it's like that person is actually talking to me.
Mhm.
I'm saying, so that's a way, because you were speaking on like people don't really trust like doing stuff online because it might be a scam. That's a way to like get more personal through social media without actually talking to the person.
Right.
You know,
Yeah. Another one and stuff like this. Because like myself, I cannot stand like just talking into the camera. So I could be here with like one person watching, 10,000 people watching. It doesn't matter. The fact that I just like be talking to a video of myself, like I feel like I just be talking in the mirror. It's so awkward. I don't like it. I do it like if I'm filming courses or stuff like that, but I'm really still not 100% comfortable with it. But stuff like this, like I'm just talking to Idrian.
yeah,
So I love stuff like this. So it makes me feel much better.
yeah,
As far as social media, I've gotten to the point of realizing like and this is going more into the entrepreneur side of things. Um, when it comes to like social media ads, before, when it was explained to me, people talked about the ROI and stuff like that. You put in this much money, put in $100 in ads. This many people going to buy based on how many saw your ads, so you get this much money back. And it's like that may be it for you, but for the most part, like that's not really how ads and marketing works anymore. Especially because every market you're in is going to be saturated to some degree. Like I don't think there's many new things to do unless you're just doing stuff in like the metaverse right now. And so it's all going to be tech. But if it's like not in the metaverse, there's not many new things to do. So there's so much saturation. You got to find a way to like separate yourself.
yeah.
And oh my God, I just lost my train of thought while I was talking. But hold on, let me get it back. You say something, let me get it back.
So yeah, man, I think like what you were saying was definitely spot on because it's like separate yourself when it comes to marketing campaigns. Like that's kind of hard, man, because what you're doing, somebody probably already did it, or somebody is probably doing it now. And then also like when you said that you don't really like talking to the camera, like I'm the same way, bro. I like that's why like on a Black Wealth Media platform at times I would do like videos where I'm talking to the camera or trying to talk to the people, but I'm looking at it later like I don't like doing that. I'd rather just create a post on Canva and put it up there. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
now, granted, that might get more, um, engagement, but I don't like doing that stuff either. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to talk to people. Like I'm more personal. You know what I'm saying? I want to like someone in my face. But yeah, like this right here though. I'm cool with this. I like this because, like he said, he talking to Idrian. I'm talking to Trevor. So this is
Right.
cool. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man.
And I picked it back up. What the point I was going to get to was, I remember ads. I used to think about it like just an investment, return on investment. But really now, like ads is like just operational costs at this point. It's like the same way you would have had to pay rent if you had a storefront, you got to pay rent, for your ads or your business to be seen online. The only way for it not to be seen is for word of mouth to kind of just spread like wildfire. And that's what going viral is. It's almost like everything in real life in store foot business has turned to, website business. And then now the next step will go from there to the metaverse or virtual reality and stuff. I just went into a conundrums that's her name, a conundrums black virtual mall today and saw it for the first time. I didn't know what it was. And I got to see it. I'm like, oh, like, okay, so it's literally like you got on VR glasses and you're walking through the mall, and eventually you get the people's website, which I assume. But like, obviously, it's stuff you could do with it. But as far as advertising, it's like that's a standard cost. Like the same way you got to pay every month for your website to stay hosted up. Maybe it's $20, $40, $100 if it's ClickFunnels, or $300 if you got the premium. Right, that same amount of money you got to spend every month. Same thing happens with ads. Like if you want to exist and actually create traffic from social media, you got to run ads to some degree. Recently, I had to change my campaign to start talking to contracted companies, because out here in Connecticut, it's a lot. Where I live at, it's a lot more of them available. And I felt like where I live at here in Connecticut, it's not like New York where it's a lot of infrastructure everywhere. It's a lot of older, storefronts that you see like a bucket somewhere. They got a leaky roof and stuff. It's a karate dojo. That's cool. It's like, they got enough students, but clearly not enough money coming in. How would you help these companies? Yeah. And it's like, in no reality, they have to find a way to generate a system and income online. And the only way that that's really going to happen without them just having some viral word of mouth spread fire is by running ads. And it's gotten to the point, Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn, they turn it into like literal real estate. And you're paying, your ad is officially going to be your monthly rent in order for you to open those doors.
Yeah. Digital real estate. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think, man, like, I think another way I think an underrated way that people don't use is like Facebook groups. Like, as you're talking about marketing Facebook groups, like, for example, my brother-in-law, he has a company called Music Tuners where people like pay him to, he makes music and people also pay him to listen to the music. So he'll get on his Facebook, his Facebook page. Like, let's say he gets on his Facebook page at, 10 p.m. at night, and he'll be on there from, until 1 a.m. The whole time he's got people like, okay, yo, play my music. And like people are sending him emails. This is the music I want you to play. And like, if people want to jump the line and get their song played, they got to pay him like $20. And sometimes people are like paying that. And then, like he'll go into Facebook groups and he'll get people, and he just spent like the whole summer just going to Facebook groups. And now he's got like 4,000 likes on his Facebook page. So whenever he puts something on his Facebook page, it goes viral automatically. You know what I'm saying? So that's underrated. Like now he is like the king of networking, Facebook groups and stuff, So I haven't really mastered that, but that's just another way. As you were talking about marketing, I was saying like, man, that's a way people don't really use. Like, and you got to have some patience, because
exactly,
you got to have some patience, bro, because I tried that. Like, I'm trying to build my Facebook page. I got my Facebook page to like 400 likes, but I'm going into black business groups and just talking to people, man. And after a little while, it's like, I don't want to do this no more.
Yeah, you realize 80% of people there just trying to make a sale.
Man, bro. And yeah, that's another thing, man. Everybody's trying to get a sale. A lot of people, like, you could post something. People like, hey, I got a question. How do you do this in the group? Somebody will post a comment like, hey, I got these. It's like, what? Like,
Yep.
oh man. So I was like, man, I'm good on this. Not to say
Yeah.
I won't go back to that again, but you know.
The tough part about the Facebook groups I noticed is like, I mean, I guess everybody could use it, but it's still about organically building an audience. I know there's one dude I follow, like, I think his name's like Mark Fifth or something like that. I forget his name. But like he'll run an ad that'll have people, contact him through Messenger, and then they end up getting into a Facebook group. So technically he's using ads to feed his Facebook group, right? Which is like, and I guess like simultaneously he's feeding his email list while doing it at the same time, which makes a lot of sense. And then you just gotta have somebody watch the Facebook group to make sure people not selling and all of that other stuff. But trying to keep tabs on who's actually there for what you have is a little rough. So I know for the contractors out here, it'll be a little easier just because, like, what I don't know what Facebook group you will have, for renovations or something like that. Like if I just got my kitchen renovated, I'm not about to look at your renovation posts every day in a Facebook group, but because it's a large scale item, I know it could likely work for other people in it. But I haven't mastered the whole Facebook group thing. I have been in some that had a great, like, I've been in I've been in a Myron Golden's Make More Offers challenge that he holds within the Facebook group.
Yeah.
I did my first Game on Leverage challenge within a Facebook group, and it was cool. But honestly, my favorite platform is LinkedIn right now because I offer business services, so it's a lot easier for me to target the business and who in the business I'm trying to reach through LinkedIn as opposed to Facebook. If I sold like direct to consumer or like a tangible good, I'd probably use Facebook.
Yeah. And the thing about LinkedIn is people actually reach out to you too. Like
yeah, for sure.
Like they'll look at your profile like, oh, you got this? Oh yeah, let me reach out to you. Like,
yep,
people reach
out
to
you.
Yeah, like that's a good thing. That's the one thing I like about LinkedIn. Like you don't have to really work too hard to find an opportunity. People will hit your inbox up every day. Like somebody might hit you up like, hey, I listened to your podcast, man. Like let's talk and da da da. You know what I'm saying?
So
yeah,
I did the last time I actually like was on LinkedIn and had a good conversation with somebody. It was this dude. I think his name was like Kevin Miller. I'm not that good with remembering names after one thing. But I met with the dude Kevin, and when he hit me up, it was different. He was like, "Don't you hate when people reach out to you to sell you something?" He was like, I'm Kevin, blah blah blah. I do marketing, this and third. And then he's like, if there's any way that you think we could collaborate or partner up, let me know. And I waited like a week and actually thought of something and figured it out. And then we actually did a nice collab. I got to speak to his mastermind group and stuff. And that was dope. So now I'm like, yo, LinkedIn actually is a really good place, not just for like the career and industry kind of networking, but also for these exact kind of partnerships. So I think before we leave, we may have to talk about how we could use LinkedIn to even just find new partnerships.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's definitely people you could reach out to.
Yeah.
Obviously, with the partnerships, you're not necessarily, in the inbox asking for money or asking for them to pay for something, so that'll make them feel good. If you offer the partnership, you kind of giving them a compliment, saying I like your stuff enough that I'm thinking of you for a partnership. You just gotta hope that they don't think you're coming in there with some sort of MLM kind of thing.
Yeah.
They think it's multi-level marketing is over for you.
A lot of people doing that, man. They trying to, hey man, I got this service, just hit this link. It's like, bro, I don't even need that. You know what I'm saying? Like some people hit you up with that. Some people, like I had a dude recently hit me, like a lady, actually it was a lady. She hit me up about monetizing my podcast. And she was like, hey, Idrian, I looked over your podcast, I listened to the episode, I thought it was really cool. I wanted to, give you some ideas about monetizing and what we do. I was like, okay, that's cool. And she sent me some stuff, and I read over it, and a lot of the stuff that she was offering, it was like, I mean, this is cool, but I'm good. Like, I I don't need any of this. No. And then like the it was a big company and the pricing, I was like, no, I'm good. I'm good. No, thank you. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Sometimes people gonna hit you up with stuff you don't even need. But at the same time, they still hitting you up. So you know what I'm saying? Like that says something in itself.
Yeah. It's like you don't want to go on LinkedIn and have people trying to sell you stuff. And it's like, man, I could have been on here trying to look for a job, and now you trying to take my money, right? Like it worked a little better on Facebook because at least I'm not there to make money. But there's people on LinkedIn really to build wealth and build their network, and here you come trying to sell them something that and half the time you could tell us a bot message or something like that. You
Yeah,
might as well have just did a paid LinkedIn and made it a sponsored message. I would have respected it. All
yeah, exactly, exactly.
right. So,
Yeah, man.
and any more words about partnership? And if there's somebody thinking of starting a podcast, what would you tell them regarding partnerships that would help them in the start?
Yeah, man. Okay, so if somebody out there, if you're thinking about starting a podcast and you want to do like you want to partner up with someone, I think the best thing to do first is sit down and talk about what you two guys could like. First, see what you have in common, and talk about what could potentially, what the podcast could potentially be about. Just throw out some ideas, because like I know a person right now. Like let's say if I was like she's a personal trainer. Let's say if I was to start like a fitness podcast, like we're both parents. You know what I'm saying? Like we're both parents. Like that's some common ground right there. We're both trying to stay fit. We could talk about like how to stay fit as a parent. You know what I'm saying? Like how to keep your kids involved and stay fit as a parent. So I think you just got to sit down with that person, talk about the ideas, see what y'all have in common, and then also you want to do some research and make sure that um, the podcast that you want to talk, the subject that you want to talk about, make sure people are actually reading about it or listening to it. You know what I'm saying? Find other podcasts and get some ideas from them. So that would be my advice. And
Yeah,
if you need any help, reach out to me.
for sure.
Yeah,
If anybody needs help with podcasting, reach out to Idrian.
yeah, for sure.
Um, and also, if as far as partnerships and stuff like that for like employees and self-employed people and stuff. Again, if you're an employee, the number one thing you want to make sure you keep strong ties with everybody. So like even when you leave a job, even if they underpaid you and you didn't like the work conditions and all of that, leave on a decent note because you never know which one of those people in that on that project or on that team or in that company could be an asset to you later on, or who you could be an asset to later on. Number two is make sure like especially let's say I talk from a construction management position, but I know there's people who like work in industries where you typically work in this business for 3 years and move to another one, then work there 3 years and move to another one, work there 3 years. Once you got about three businesses for three to five companies under your belt, you need to really start looking for ways to monetize that same experience off the job somehow, some way. It don't necessarily have to be the same exact thing. So if you're an electrician, you don't necessarily have to do electrician work on the outside, but you got to find a way to use the expertise to make some money on your own, outside that 9 to 5, because you're only getting paid during them 8 hours. Maybe you're getting paid that overtime, but it's really, really nice to be at work and get a notification saying that you made a sale or that's your stock portfolio went up, whatever it is. So I would say, really find a way to monetize that expertise. It might just be something where, you do you write one speech and you go tell it on a bunch of podcasts and having a link at the bottom that's an affiliate link or something, whatever it is. But you want to be able to monetize that expertise because otherwise you won't get paid for it. Your job is really paying you for your time, not most people are not getting paid for the expertise as much as they are their time. For those of you who have started that side business or have a business of your own where you're the sole employee or the sole owner and you're making you're making the moves, you're doing the jobs, you're getting the clients, and you're hustling and bustling around. You got to make sure that you start figuring out what all those roles are that you're working in your company and writing it out so you can figure out who you're going to partner with later on. Because I know for myself with Cassaberry Consulting now, like I literally now have a partnership plan. So it's like instead of me thinking, oh, these are all the people I'd hire one day if everything was working, it's like, no, these are all the positions that I need to partner with the company to fill those slots. That way this whole thing can just operate like a machine instead of operating like, paper mache or something like that. And then lastly, if you're an entrepreneur having a staff working underneath you, you need to be leveraging partnerships every day. That way you can just find new investment opportunities for yourself, your partners, and your business. And that's what I got for you.
Well, I got nothing, man. You said it all.
All right, man. Again, this is Black Buck Media Live. I think this is episode 5.
5, yeah.
I'm Trevor Cassaberry, CEO of Cassaberry Consulting and Cassaberry.com, where we teach entrepreneurs and executives how to think like engineers. I'm also the author of the For the Hustler book series, which you can find at hustlerbooks.com. And again, I'm always here with the great.
My name is Idrian Evans, guys. Man, I appreciate that for real, bro. My name is Idrian Evans, guys. I'm the host of the Black Wealth Media Podcast, man. We drop an episode every Wednesday. We just dropped a new episode this past Wednesday, talking to a guy about Airbnbs. So be sure to check that out, guys. You can find it on all streaming platforms. And we got some more content coming out for you guys ASAP. So,
Hey, y'all. Peace.